In this video, we'll learn about to be in the past tense. In the past tense, to be has two forms. They are was and were. On this slide, we'll see how we use different forms of to be in the past tense per subject. Now, let's start with the pronouns first. When the subject is I, to be becomes was. When the subject is you, to be becomes were. When the subject is he, she, it, to be becomes was. When the subject is we, to be becomes were. When the subject is you in the plural form, to be once again becomes were. And when the subject is they, to be becomes were. Now let's see how we use to be with different forms of noun subjects. When the noun subject is in the singular form, then to be becomes was. When the noun subject is in the plural form, then to be becomes were. Now let's look at it in a few examples. I was at school. You were young. She was disappointed. He was 24. It was a lovely morning. We were in the same team. You were in the city. They were married. Now, let's see a few more examples, this time using noun subjects. Dad was in the garage. My mom was a school teacher. The food was cold. All actors were on the stage. The vegetables were fresh. The kids were very happy. On this slide, we'll learn how to use sentences with past tense to be in interrogative form. Alright, as you may already have observed, in affirmative sentences to be comes right after the subject. However, in interrogative form, we have to bring to be right before the subject. Let's look at it in a few examples. You were at home. As you can see here, were to be comes right after the subject because it's an affirmative sentence. However, in interrogative sentence, we have to say, were you at home? As you can see, were to be comes right before the subject. A few more examples. John was an engineer. Was John an engineer? I was busy last week. Was I busy last week? All the relatives were at the wedding. Were all the relatives at the wedding? He was very sleepy. Was he very sleepy? We were in the same class. Were we in the same class? Alright, on this slide we'll see how to use sentences with past tense to be in negative form. For this, we actually keep the same sentence structure we use for affirmative sentences, and that is subject followed by to be. And to make it negative, we simply add not right after to be. Now let's look at it in a few examples. You were at home. This is an affirmative sentence, and here to be comes right after the subject. However, to make this sentence negative, we have to say you were not at home. As you can see in this sentence, we have added not right after to be. And to make it shorter, you can also say you weren't at home. Let's see a few more examples. John was an engineer. John was not an engineer. I was busy last week. I was not busy last week. All the relatives were at the wedding. All the relatives were not at the wedding. He was very sleepy. He was not very sleepy. We were in the same class. We were not in the same class. On this slide, we'll learn how to know when to use to be in the present tense and when in the past tense. Now, to be able to know this, we have to pay attention to time adverbs used in a sentence. For example, if you have time adverbs like now, at the moment, currently, or a clause sentence in the present tense, then you use to be in the present tense. However, if you have time adverbs like yesterday, the day before yesterday, last year, last week, last month, ago, or a clause sentence in the past tense, then you use to be in the past tense. Now let's look at it in a few examples. I am at home now. As you can see in this sentence, we have a time adverb now, and that's why we've used to be in the present tense. I was at home yesterday. In this sentence, however, we have used to be in the past tense because we have time adverb yesterday. A few more examples. She is in town at the moment. She was in town last week. Alice is 6 years old now. Alice was 5 years old last year. Ben and his wife are currently unemployed. Ben and his wife were unemployed last month. Fans are happy because their team is winning. Fans were happy when their team won the game. Quiz time. For quiz 1, I would like you to fill in the blank spaces using to be in the correct form and tense. Now you have 30 seconds to prepare your answers. After 30 seconds, I'll show the correct answers so that you can cross-check. All right, time is up. Let's see the correct answers for quiz 1. She was in Kenya last week. I am really tired. Can't help you right now. You were asleep when I left. I didn't want to wake you up. They are at the grocery store now. It was rainy whole day yesterday. Julia is at the door. I can see her from the window. Robert and his wife were out of town last month. Are you hungry? There is food in the fridge. I was very short when I was younger. What is she up to these days? For quiz 2, I would like you to use the affirmative sentences given on the screen in interrogative and negative forms. You have 30 seconds to prepare your answers. After 30 seconds, I'll show the correct answers so that you can cross-check. Time is up. Now let's see the correct answers for quiz 2. I was full after dinner. Was I full after dinner? I was not full after dinner. You were at the meeting. Were you at the meeting? You were not at the meeting. It was cold 2 days ago. Was it cold 2 days ago? It was not cold 2 days ago. We were at the party yesterday. Were we at the party yesterday? We were not at the party yesterday. She was in the yard a minute ago. Was she in the yard a minute ago? She was not in the yard a minute ago. You were excited for the competition. Were you excited for the competition? You were not excited for the competition. He was too little when they moved out. Was he too little when they moved out? He was not too little when they moved out. They were upset for losing the game. Were they upset for losing the game? They were not upset for losing the game. The ice cream was delicious. Was the ice cream delicious? The ice cream was not delicious. The roads were frozen. Were the roads frozen? The roads were not frozen. To practice more, you can write down 10 sentences using to be in the past tense, and feel free to write down your sentences in the comment section below. I'll try to check them for you whenever I can. And please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Talk to you in the next video.